the secret of the human internal organs, called 5 viscera and 6 entrails, that human beings do not know. Every cell in a living organism has consciousness. Each tissue of an organism has its own consciousness. Every internal organ of a life form also contains its own consciousness. Every human cell has consciousness. Cells can divide and proliferate by expressing their unique genetic traits because they have consciousness. The tissues that make up the human body also have their own unique consciousnesses. The cells that make up a tissue have their own group consciousness. Because the cells that make up a tissue embody common group consciousness, the tissue can exert its unique functions in the body of an organism. Because each cell has consciousness, the cell can radiate its vitality and the cell cycle can take place. Because the consciousness of the cell varies from cell to cell, the diversity of life can be built and maintained. Also, since each tissue is conscious, the universal features of the tissue can be realized. Because tissues have common consciousnesses that they share with each other, harmony and balance can be maintained between different tissues. Because each tissue has its own consciousness that is different from those of others, the specificity of the tissue is manifested differently depending on the tissue. On the other hand, because tissues have common consciousnesses shared between them, homeostasis can be maintained among different tissues. The consciousness given to the cell refers to a program elaborately designed to manage and regulate the cell cycle accurately and properly. The consciousness given to the tissue refers to a sophisticated program embedded with the functions that make the physiological phenomena relevant to the tissue occur accurately and precisely and control these phenomena. The consciousness conferred on the internal organ refers to a program that enables each of the internal organs to properly perform its functions. The human internal organs refer to the 6 viscera and 6 entrails, each of which has its own consciousness. When the Creator's action of creation to give birth to a human being is carried out, consciousness is given to each internal organ. There are consciousnesses universally given to the livers of all people, and these consciousnesses lead to the physiological functions of the liver that are common to all people. Meanwhile, the liver has a consciousness unique to each person. This individual-specific consciousness of the liver may trigger the physiological functions of the liver that occur in people with idiosyncratic constitutions. The The consciousness given to the internal organ determines the human personality. The reason why people have different personalities from each other is that the consciousness of each internal organ contains different contents for each individual. For every organism, the internal organs have common consciousnesses that they share with each other. But also, each internal organ has its own consciousness, specialized for itself. The content of the consciousness that causes the physiology of each internal organ varies slightly depending on the organism. Various personalities of humans are determined according to the contents of the consciousnesses that are given to their internal organs when humans are born through the Creator's action of creation. The constitution of each human being is determined based on the contents and sizes of the consciousnesses that are given to the human internal organs when the human being is born through the Creator's action of creation. The human body requires a system to collectively manage and control the different contents of consciousness that are conferred on its internal organs when a human being is born through the Creator's action of creation. This is called the life circuit diagram. If these consciousnesses given to the human internal organs are not stably managed and controlled through the life circuit diagram, schizophrenia or emotional disorders may occur. If these consciousnesses given to the human internal organs are not smoothly controlled through the life circuit diagram, various diseases may arise in the human body. If some of the consciousnesses given to the human internal organs are programmed to make intended errors in manifestation through the life circuit diagram, it can lead to incurable or intractable diseases. If some of the consciousnesses given to the human internal organs are intentionally prevented from being manifested through the life circuit diagram, congenital or developmental disabilities will arise. Humans cannot cure diseases without understanding the life circuit diagram. The miracles of curing incurable or intractable diseases can be worked only when a healer is granted the authority to gain access to the life circuit diagram from the heaven. The miracles of healing incurable or terminally ill diseases cannot be performed without the understanding of the consciousnesses given to the human internal organs. In order to enjoy disease-free longevity and perpetual youth, human beings must be given the authority to completely control the life circuit diagram from the heaven. Here is the good news that the heaven has come down to the earth in order to open the age of life as truth, in which disease-free longevity and perpetual youth will come true. The era has begun in which The heaven that has come down to the earth directly heals human beings and other life forms. The age of heavenly medicine, in which diseases are healed through the communication and coordination between the human and the heaven, has been commenced by the heaven that has come down to the earth. October 14th in 2021, Udeka wrote,